Defunding the police is not, I don't agree with just abolishing the whole police department. I don't agree with that. But however, I do agree with that it needs to be restructured from top to bottom. It really does. If it's not working, we're only insane to continue trying the same thing over and over again. So for me, defunding the police is taking money from different areas and reallocating it into areas where needed most, especially for the officers to be effective in the 21st century. In our community, we need to be able to upgrade everything, technology, training, bring in specialists, because we have people that go to 8 years, go to school, what they go to school for 8 years to be a mental health therapist, or 4 years, they to get this training. I work in I'm a psychological rehabilitation specialist, but I'm not going to try to be a mental health therapist. I have a mental health therapist who I refer my clients to speak with, because I'm not a mental health therapist. So we need to be able to bring in these therapists to do the ride alongs on these specific calls. I just want everyone who agree that the Baltimore City Police Department needs mental health therapists to go with them on calls, for people who may be having a mental breakdown. Put a 1 if you do not agree. Put a 2 in the chat box, please. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jaquan.
Okay, that was good. So a 1 if you agree and a 2 if you don't agree. All right.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I said something like that last Monday. Where it was like people gotta understand the difference between defunding the police and abolishing like the police department, because abolishing the police department is a completely separate idea, and I think that'll set us back instead of being more progressive than as a lot of people think. I think when a lot of people hear defund the police department, they think take all the money away, and I don't think that's what people are trying to do. I think it's trying to put money in different places to where where the people feel like it can impact us better.
Okay.
I agree with everyone. I feel as though to refer back to what Gerard said about how they try to, update the training depending on what is happening in the community. And that's just, at this point, that's just not enough. And I feel as though the marching and everything going on really just rushed the process of, hey, yeah, we really do need to defund and reevaluate everything that we're doing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I wanted to give you guys someone to contact, if I could. He is the director of the health and wellness section for the police department. Basically, what he does, like I said, we get in-service training once a year, and he also talks to us once a year about health and wellness, mental health. His name is Director Vernon Heron. If you need me to spell it, I can. All you got to do is just Google Baltimore Police Health and Wellness, and just scroll down. I met him multiple times. He's a great guy. And his mission is basically all about what you guys are talking about as far as mental health within the police department. But yeah, if that because this new section that we have is not old. It's something that just came about. They just built a health and wellness section for officers to go to when we're having mental health issues, or if we think that, we're feeling suicidal or something like that, we go to this health and wellness section. It's not required, like I said last time, but it's just there. If they can expand this and kind of, make it a lot more important than what it's seeming like now, then I think that would make a difference. I mean, I'll send you his contact information. I mean, I don't have his contact information, but I know how to reach him. Like, his information is on the website, but not his like direct contact information. I can find it probably, but I'll
Yes, we
send.
need that, please.
Yeah, I'll send as much as I can. I'll try to find at least his email or something like that.
And if we can invite him out, I don't know if he'll be up to it, but
I'm sure
what
he
you
will be.
guys think about that? Put a one if y'all agree that y'all would like to have a conversation with director. You didn't give me his name, Vernon.
Director Vernon Heron says he has 35 years plus experience in law enforcement. I guess when he retired, he went to like more so towards health and wellness.
Can you spell his last name for me?
HERRON, and he deals with everything that comes down to health and wellness for police officers. So he's the one that needs to be reached, and he needs the support, definitely.
I see him. All right.
Oh, there we go. They have a meeting with Zeke Cohen, Congressman Zeke Cohen, next week, and they actually have a meeting with the mayor and police commissioner. So we're not going to. You're welcome to join us if you want. I'm Gerard, and of course, Excellence of Ambitions and Moms Demand Action. But we're not making it public, like open to the public, like how these are. We have a different link for Thursday at 4 p.m. The mayor and the police commissioner is coming on. So let us know if you want to join. And Terry, if you want to join this meeting, because we're going to have, it's going to be a more guided discussion where they'll have their questions down that they want to ask them, to try to move forward with creating this change. So,
yeah. I wish we could work on, we were talking about the community events that we could plan, but it's hard with this pandemic. Hopefully, prayerfully, I still have hope that it'll pass eventually. But I think that that would be perfect for us. But
and I'm sure Terry, you guys will want to get on that. We put an event together with the police and the youth in Baltimore, a free event, so do some bonding, some playing games, activities, and let the youth pick the activities. And I think that would be nice. All right.
Miss Lisa, can I ask Gerard something?
Yeah.
It has to do with the police, with our topic right now. It's just that we want to get involved with the community pertaining to the homeless. And I was wondering, especially since you're on the streets like all the time, I'm sure you would know the main popular areas and which parts would really need help.
Homelessness, I would say the main area, I would say downtown. But it's unfortunately, it's a lot of homelessness right now in the city. But the main area I would say is I would say Calvert Street, maybe.
Yeah. Because they making care packages. They're doing a project where they're doing care packages for the homeless. They're amazing. And they came up with this.
That's awesome.
They came up with this on their own.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I would love to be a part of something like that. I can probably find, the worst areas. But it's mostly downtown though. It's mostly downtown. Yeah.
Took note of it.
Thank you.
Any more questions on this topic of police and mental health?
Want to take a 2-minute water break to let people get a little bit of water?
All right.
We got a couple minutes left, guys. 30 minutes left. Y'all can get water or use the restroom. We're more than halfway through. You guys are doing amazing. I know we've been working. So you guys are doing such an amazing job. I want to salute our other leaders, of course, our host, Jaquan, and then our other leaders before we take this break, Tamil, Chastity, Isaiah, Courtney. They're part of the leadership team. So, yeah, you guys are doing an awesome, all of you. I want to salute Selena, Quintrell, Ronald, Taylor, Dayon, Logan, of course, everybody. You guys are all doing an amazing job. So yeah, go ahead and take a quick bathroom break and have it.
All right.
All right.
Social distance means back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet, that's what social distance means. Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet. Back up. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please.
Not the bad.
Is everybody back?
I'm back.
Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet, that's what social distance means. Back up and practice social distancing. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please. 6 feet. Back up. Mask up, cause I don't want your germs on me. I'ma need 6 feet and keep your mask on, please.
All right. Cool. And we're gonna move into police misconduct.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Kearney.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Police Commissioner Michael Harrison calls Sergeant Ethan Newberg's behavior disturbing and illegal.
WJZ is live at City Police Headquarters downtown. Paul Gessler has more of what we're learning tonight. Paul.
Well, Vic and Rick, last week, Commissioner Harrison called Newberg's actions disturbing, and today we got a glimpse of that body-worn camera video that led to criminal charges and was flagged by the Public Integrity Bureau.
What's you mind your business?
This is video the night of May 30th in southwest Baltimore. It shows a man urging Baltimore police to get a man off a wet sidewalk during a warrant check.
You got him? You got him?
Sergeant Ethan Newberg took exception and chased the man down.
The man did nothing to provoke Sergeant Newberg, whose actions were not just wrong, but deeply disturbing and illegal.
The disturbing and illegal part, according to Harrison and prosecutors, happens when Newberg's subordinate steps in and tackles the man.
I don't know how something like this would have been handled in the past, but I know that as soon as I saw this video, I knew how I would be handling it.
Last week, Harrison announced Sergeant Newberg, a 24-year veteran of the department, is facing charges of false imprisonment, second-degree assault, and misconduct in office. Newberg, a week prior, is caught on camera telling the man to accept his disorderly conduct charge.
What am I going to just go to jail and take your charge like a man? For what? Take your charge. What am I going to jail for? Because you don't know how to act.
It is making their work even that much harder. It is making our compliance with the consent decree that much harder. And it is making building public trust with our community that much harder.
The city's police union last week blasted Commissioner Harrison's actions, calling them politically motivated. Harrison cites what he calls a horrible culture on display in the video, an officer who tried to intervene and de-escalate, who Newberg commanded to leave.
Leave my scene. Go, leave. Don't you ever tell me how to do my job.
Of note, Newberg, the sergeant now criminally charged, was Baltimore City's second highest paid employee last year. City records show he made $243,000, mostly in overtime. Back live now here at City Police Headquarters. I have put that body-worn camera video released to the media today on my Twitter and Facebook pages. A small group of us inside here today saw an extended, unredacted version of that video. And in it, Sergeant Newberg says of that neighborhood services officer who tried to calm him down, quote, "Take your hand-holding nonsense somewhere else. This is police work. This ain't no candlelight vigil." Newberg's court date is set for July 9th at District Court on Patapsco Avenue. Reporting live from City Police.
Ooh, that's clean. So, what should be the consequences for a police officer that misuses their authority?
Like like it matters what type of misusing their authority, like killing somebody or locking them up for no reason. Which one? You hear me, bro?
I think it's just basically either. You know, whatever perspective that you want to use. If it's hurting someone, just locking someone up for doing something wrong, pulling their use of force, racially profiling, whatever you want to take it as. If they misuse their authority in any of them situations, what should the consequences be?
Well, the consequence should be, I think they should get either life in jail or at least 15.
Can I say something?
Yes.
All right, so I say that it should be locked up because just because you're a police don't mean that you should be doing stuff just for no reason.
I agree with Montez. Yeah, they abuse their authority just because they wear the badge. They believe they are higher than anyone else. I think they should either lose their job or 9 times out of 10 go to jail.
And again, and if they do lose their job, don't you know how the other time when we had the upper meeting, and then that Andrew guy said that he heard something like they could go somewhere else, like to be police in a different location, like other than Baltimore, like they shouldn't be able to do that again.
Yeah, I agree.
My bad.
Oh, you can go ahead. Ladies first.
I was gonna say that I agree with everybody, especially depending on the situation. They should be charged whatever we would get charged as a regular civilian. Like they're humans, they could get charged the same thing, maybe even 5 more years added on. It's a little extra.
I agree to a certain extent with all you guys. There should be consequences in place, which there are. I do know that particular officer, he was terminated. Well, he was arrested first, and then he was terminated. So there are criminal charges in place for police officers. Should there be extra consequences for police officers? I do actually agree with that because I mean we are supposed to uphold the law, and not use our power for our own personal use. But I agree with you guys to a certain extent. I agree with Chastity 100%. They should get the same treatment as a regular civilian committing these crimes. I agree with that.
And I agree with you all too. And Logan, I agree with you as well because we hold them, to a higher extent of the law. You know what I mean? So if they're doing something, they should get life in jail. If it's a murder, you know what I mean? If they kill somebody, they should get life in jail for murder. And they should, So I definitely agree with you guys, with you all 100% on the police should actually get more time, I believe. For me, because they took an oath to protect and to serve. You know what I mean? They took an oath. So what you guys are saying is incredible because it's true. They shouldn't be able to hide behind a law or an order that states, because that makes me think of modern day slavery, right? Because they can beat us and they can kill us and they could falsely arrest us. And it's like they're being protected behind this order that, what year was this order even written where, and I understand that we can't jump the judgment on Baltimore City Police or police anywhere. We can't jump the judgment and arrest, like right then and there. We have to make sure that the facts are on, because how many of us, we look at a video, right? And then we thinking one thing, and then once we see the full video, it's something completely different, just like what happened with Quintrell's cousin on Pennsylvania Avenue, where he was trying to help his friend to actually get from under the police who had him in a chokehold. And the video that was portrayed to the public, right? It was the police said that the youth had spit on him and hit him or kicked him or something. But when the whole video came out, none of that ever happened. He actually hit the youth first, and the youth hit him back because he hit him for no reason. And then that's how the struggle and the scuffle wound up going. They were trying to pull him. He was choking them, and they were trying to pull him. Now, did I agree with them kicking and all of that other crazy stuff? Okay, that was something different. But they were trying to save someone's life. And as a citizen or as another police officer, it is your duty to protect if the police is doing something wrong. That's another whole conversation that I would like to have. Doing another time is about police officers standing there, right? Because some of the youth has expressed this to me during our private conversations that we have, that they have a thing with the officers actually just standing there watching their partners while they're beating or shooting another officer. You're supposed to take him out, right? Because he's killing someone and they didn't do anything. As a police officer, if you're to protect and serve, even if it's against your own coworker, you are supposed to lay him out just like you would lay out a suspect in a course of a crime, because they're committing a crime. So you're supposed to do that and put him in handcuffs, whatever you need to do to stop him from harming. And I don't want to keep going on because this is the youth session, but there's so many questions. I love you coming on because there's so many questions that you have answered for us, and there's so many more. I have so many questions, like so many, but I'm gonna pass the big one to you.
And I'm willing to answer all of them too. You know what I mean? I may bring on some friends though for help, for some little bit of backup, but
Please,
I'm willing to answer.
you need some backup.
I'm willing to answer all.
Backup, y'all.
Yeah, I'm willing to answer all your questions. It's an honor really, because you guys need to know. You guys need to know the truth. You know what I mean? As far as like, stopping other officers to commit crime, that is 100% true. That's also your duty. You know what I mean? And like from experience, you know your coworkers' triggers because you know your coworkers. You work with them. You may be friends with them. You know how angry they may get, how fast they may get angry. So it's your job to jump in and say, hey, all right, let me take over. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you.
I actually have a question on that. I'm glad Miss Lisa brought that up. Because, well, the scenario I can think of is like when there's, officers chasing down probably someone. And I don't know if this is like a law or something, I'm not sure. Like if you see maybe like if there's more than one person in the car, or else like the car is moving too much, like don't shoot at the car because like might hit the suspect or something. But what I'm thinking of, what if like the partner's like stop shooting and the other partner is just still going, like it's not cleared at all, like, hey, we need to shoot, the officer just started shooting.
Are you asking?
What are the
Shoot.
protocols for that? Do you
Are you
guys even
asking?
have any?
Explain that question one more time, Chastity, because I
Yeah.
didn't get it either way, man. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, because I've thought, I don't know, I've seen it like on shows and stuff where some officers like don't want to shoot at the vehicle, and the other partner's like, no, shoot the car, and he's like, that's not a part of it, like that's not the protocol. So I was, thinking once Miss Lisa brought it up, like, hey, what is the protocol for that when
Yeah.
one officer is just, not listening, and the partner knows?
Right. Well, our policy is we cannot shoot at a moving vehicle. That's that. I mean, we cannot do that. This is like real life. If you shoot that person, you wind up killing them, then that vehicle can kill somebody else. Unless that, if that person is actively, of course, God forbid, shooting at somebody while he's in the vehicle, that's a different story. But we can't shoot at moving vehicles at all.
So when another officer, like a partner, isn't listening, do you guys like file a secret report, or ask to speak with your chief in private or sergeant in private?
Well, honestly, we don't really have to do that because we got cameras, and as long as those cameras is on, whoever's investigating it, criminal affairs, they're gonna be able to see all of that. That's
I
if
need
we
to
don't.
follow up on that question. That's not what she asked you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Will you report them? Like, she want to
Oh
know.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, will y'all report them? Like, what is the policy? Not once they get caught, right? Because I know it's a thing where you don't want to snitch on your coworker, but when it comes to harming someone, especially our Black and brown children, and they're getting shot and beat by police, or like anybody, not even just Black and brown, like anybody that's being hurt by a police. What is the policy? What type of protection, first of all, does the other officer, which Chassie, I believe, is asking, do they have any type of protection? Is there a procedure that you must follow? Is it like a form that you need to fill out in secrecy? Like, what can you do for them to give them the okay to go back and review that camera? Like, what rights does the officer who has to get up and ride in the car with this man or woman every day with a gun on them? What rights do you have if you want to bring up to an attention that they are acting disorderly and that they are ticking time bomb? Was that what you asking, Chastity?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. That's what she was asking. Was that correct, Chastity?
Yes, it was.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Well, what I'll say is I do not know the exact steps. I'm sure there is policy in place. I do not know it offhand, but we can always go to supervisors. We have sergeants, lieutenants, majors, captains, whatever, we can go to them, and it's actually if we want to cover ourselves, because if they're doing something wrong and we're with them, we can get in trouble too. You see with George Floyd, I believe all of the officers were charged and arrested. So we that's our duty. We have to quote unquote snitch. If we don't want to I know I don't. Me personally, I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my livelihood. None of that. So, and plus, there are people out here getting hurt. So, you want to avoid that. So, me personally, the only thing I would know to do, I've never had to do this, but is to go to a supervisor. But there is something in place. I just don't know it offhand. I'll definitely find that out for y'all next time.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Great question, Chastity, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What should be the consequences for an officer that doesn't have his body cam on at all times?
You can go ahead, man.
Thanks. I feel as though like if they don't have their body cam on, they should like, probably get suspended, not locked up right there because they probably still got the chance to like make it right.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, our cameras aren't on 24/7. They come on only when we have contact with a civilian. Now there is such a thing called a field interview where you're just talking to somebody, normally having a simple conversation where you're not really even talking about police related subjects. You're just talking to them like a normal person, really. They have the freedom to leave if they want. They have the freedom to not answer questions or, not talk to us. That's their right. But if our cameras aren't on and we're making contact with somebody and we're stopping them and they are not free to leave, then, that officer definitely would be in trouble.
Is there a policy behind that or an order where if they're turning off, they're not doing a little field test where you're having a casual conversation, but any type of situation, if an officer is turning off his body camera, are there any consequences? Is there like a policy around that?
Yeah, the camera has to stay activated throughout the entire call or throughout the entire
I'm sorry, consequences.
Yeah, I do not know the exact consequences, but there are. I know situations where police officers have lost vacation days, have been suspended, investigated. I guess it's just dependent on the situation, how extent the penalty is. They will even go as far as making you walk foot patrol for a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Any other consequences if it's continuously happening?
Yeah, termination.
Okay.
Eventually they move up to termination. I don't know all of the consequences offhand. Do you know you can get suspended, lose vacation days? There's just different like levels of penalties, but definitely you will be penalized if the camera is turned off, turned back on, or you don't turn it on soon enough, or you don't turn it on at all. It's just different levels.
I have a question. So, from my personal experience, from what I've seen, officers now just stay in their cars. I mean, even before the pandemic, I just seen, officers on certain blocks that just would not get out their car. They just rather sit there. Is that, I don't know, can that possibly be, can body cameras be like a part of that? Since now it's mandatory to have your camera on and they just probably don't want to risk any like negative interactions if it's not mandatory.
No, I think officers not willing to interact with the community just freely, willingly is an effect of what's going on. You know, when you have riots going on, you have, you know, people protesting defund the police, or, you know, police officers believe that they know that people don't like them, basically. You know, so some officers just won't, you know, freely and willingly, you know, walk around the neighborhood, speak to the kids, you know, go to some of the cookouts like I do, because I know that's what I do. They feel like the community don't like them. You know, they feel like they're hated or not wanted. You know, so that's an effect of that, unfortunately.